welcome to the Nasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio. Thank you for joining me once again. I really appreciate the support. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you sharing your time with me. So, a lot of things to cover today. We had a wonderful, wonderful show last week. We had the um, hopefully soon to be mayor of Dolton. We had Cassaundra Hopson Jordan on the show last week, and a lot of wonderful information. She had a chance to share some of her views, and we're actually gonna hopefully get her on the second half of the show to call in so that we can have more conversations about what the plan is for Dolton and how things are moving concerning not only the village of Dolton but the township as well. So I'd like to start with some things that went down at the township uh, yesterday. Um, so for those of you who watch the news, I'm sure you all have already heard about the big brawl that went down at the township. Um, so you can watch the news for the details, but at the end of the day, once again, um, among all the melee, you have the people in the middle. And we're talking about the township, and I believe that what affects the township affects the villages that's a part of the township, Thornton Township, and what affects, you know, Dolton affects Thornton Township. What affects Thornton Township affects Dolton, and as I said, the other villages. We're one family, one community, and I believe that we really need to focus on how we're going to legislate not only at the village level but also at the township level as well. So again, at the end of the day, with all the drama going on, I think it's important to understand the priority is the people and to legislate accordingly. Whatever your personal feelings may be about who you like, who you don't like, what you feel a person should be doing or not doing, at the end of the day, if you don't want somebody in office, try your best to come up with a coalition and vote. All the name calling and all the, you know, all the drama, all the noise, all the energy. I believe that we can put our energy into other things that can serve the people in different ways that would be better outcomes for everybody. So, um, I think it was a shame that people who've been pushing and pushing and pushing for the outcome that happened yesterday want to act like they are surprised now. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that you know that the supervisor got into the middle of this and middle of that. At the end of the day, those same people who talk about what they can't believe have been egging and egging and egging for something to physically happen. That's my perspective. And now that it happened, now you want to act like you're shocked. You want to act like you're appalled. Look at all the energy that you've been pouring into uh, the whole process for not only the village of Dolton, but the township as well. The energy that's been poured into those processes, those procedures, those open, conversations. At the end of the day, if someone's wrong, they need to pay for their wrong. But it doesn't take you setting aside your dignity for likes or for for news time, for FaceTime on the news. So again, that's my opinion. I was not there. I heard about it this morning, actually. Um, I did attend the meeting that happened on Monday with the audit. And again, there was a lot of numbers, not too many names next to the numbers. Uh, of course, you know, Tiffany Hinyard, the current mayor, current supervisor of Thornton Township, was implemented in a lot of misappropriation of funds, just like last time. Um, and so it'll be interesting to see what the facts um, what the facts will be. So still haven't had anybody arrested. Still haven't seen anybody in handcuffs. Still haven't seen anybody. um, excused for wrongful appropriation of funds. So February 25th, you may see something before, you may not, but whether you do or whether you don't, make sure that your vote counts. February 25th and April 1st. The primaries, February 25th. The general elections, April 1st. So please make your vote count. Speak less, complain less, and let your vote speak for you. So that's my opinion about that. I'd like to thank Anthony McMath at Up and Going uh, Cleaners for continuing to support the Denasha Harrison Show. 219-200-2400. Again, Anthony McMath is the owner of Up and Going Cleaners. So in the northern Indiana area and the Chicago Southland area, he's continuing to service not only individuals, but he's serving businesses as well. He's servicing businesses as well. And again, much love, much respect. You want something done concerning your cleaning, please give Anthony McMath a call again at 219-200-2400. He does a great job. I'd also like to talk about a veteran housing workshop. I came about this information today, as a matter of fact. So there's a veteran housing workshop. There's a couple of speakers that will be at this event. And so this event's going from January to October. January to October. So a lot of good information should be shared at that um, workshop. So from January to October, every third Thursday of the month. Again, every third Thursday of the month from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You're going to have some very dynamic speakers talking about how you can go from homelessness to home ownership. The address for that workshop is 1515 or 1515 South Harlem Avenue, and that's located in Forest Park, Illinois. Again, 1515 South Harlem Avenue, Forest Park, Illinois. There's a veteran housing workshop from homeless to home ownership. January to October 2025, every third Thursday of the month from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you know of some veterans who you know are struggling, trying to figure out how to move forward, even if they're not homeless, but they might be in an apartment and they're trying to find their way towards ownership, please share that information with them. And before the end of the show, I'll give this information as well. Um, I used to be the chair for homeless veterans in DC, and it's not as simple as trying to find shelter for someone. Um, just because they're homeless doesn't mean that they're one dimensional. You can't put all homeless people in the same box. There's a lot of different dynamics that are going on with people that you would find out there on the street, especially our veterans. And the reason that I say especially our veterans is because they're dealing with a lot of things besides homelessness. Not to say that people who did not serve and may be homeless are not dealing with a lot. Can't say that, but I'm simply saying that most veterans who find themselves without um, jobs, without shelter, or you might have some veterans that's one paycheck away. They're dealing with a lot of PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, sometimes, and it takes a multi dynamic approach to helping them get on track. And I believe that this program here, this workshop here, this lineup of speakers is going to really shed some light on some things that can really help our service members that are out there struggling. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. I talked about Thornton Township. I'm not going to get too much into that. I will say that Cassaundra Hopson Jordan, again, she should be calling in. And when she calls in, she might want to talk about that. She might want to talk more about the campaign. I want to give her space to, share this platform as much as possible to talk about uh, what's on her mind concerning Dolton and how we can move forward as a village. Again, I think we had a wonderful show last week. I think we talked about some topics that a lot of people want to hear about. You got a lot of people that are tuning in to see, try to get to know the candidates a little bit better. As you all know, I'm running for trustee. I'm always open. I'm always transparent. Any questions that you have for me, you're always welcome to ask. Um, I don't know if you'll get the answers that you want, but you're going to get the truth from me. Um, and I would say this: if you're really looking to find some real answers to some real questions, then ask. If you're looking to stir up some mess, start some drama, uh, make some smoke, make some noise, and it's not benefiting the people, and you know it's not benefiting the people, then save that energy for someone else. I prefer you not display that type of energy at all, but I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. But save that energy for someone else. And the reason that I say that is because I believe that people's lives are too important to play around with. I believe that the issues that are at hand concerning the village of Dolton and all villages, small towns, and cities alike, they have more pressing business, they have more pressing matters than to simply sit and deal with people who are just trying to get their likes up concerning their pages, their social media pages. People are dealing with trying to figure out how they're going to pay their mortgage, how they're going to pay to keep the heat on, the lights on, how they're going to pay for college for the kids, how they're going to pay for groceries, a whole lot of things. People are really struggling. And I rather spend time talking about how to make certain situations within the village, outside the village, better for people. I would like to spend my time encouraging people to hang on for another day, to continue to check their inner circles, to continue to elevate, to continue to rise above it all in the midst of all the mess that they may have to deal with, whether it's in the streets, whether it's at their job, whether it's in their families. I want to focus on the positive. But, you know, if that's not what you're about, you know, I get it. I understand some people are just messy like that, but keep that over there. Don't bring that over here. I ask you. Now, of course, you're going to do what you decide to do anyway. And I understand that. With that being the case, when you bring it over here, don't be surprised about what type of response you get. You get what you get. And you have to be prepared to deal with that because I'm prepared to be who I am. I'm prepared to be the best me that I can be as much as I can. And I'm hoping that everybody who catches me on a good day. So, but I would like to encourage you all if you have questions about how to move the village forward, how to go about the business that's best for the people, that you ask those questions. One group of people don't have all the answers. There's more than one way to get to the right way. We have a difference of opinions in a lot of circles, a lot of areas, but that doesn't mean that your opinion is not respected. That doesn't mean that your opinion is the wrong way of how to do things. I believe that with education, with the knowledge of the situations that are going on around us, that no matter who you have sided with, that you can get the answers that are best for the people. And the less you pick sides and the more you focus on the issues, then the better off everybody will be. I truly believe that. And I hope that if you haven't led your energy in that direction, I encourage you to give it a shot. Give it a try. Again, it's 2025 like I said a couple of weeks ago. It's 2025. Some of us have had resolutions, New Year's resolutions that we started out strong with. Now we're almost into February, but guess what? It's still early in the year. You're still in month 1. So because you're still in month 1, stay encouraged. It's not too late to turn your negativity around. It's not too late to turn um, your focus around. Put others before yourself. Before you talk about me, before you want to steal a spotlight from someone else, think about those other people who are really struggling or who have it worse off than you, and try putting them first and see how that um, how that deals with your soul. So just trying to be encouraging, trying to spread the good cheer, good information. Again, I am not going to talk too much about what happened at the village. You can check it on the news. They're playing it 24/7. It seems like um, it's unfortunate. I believe that everyone has redeemable qualities on both sides, and at the end of the day, I believe that we need to reach those depths within us to give the people a better product, especially if we're legislators. If you're legislating and you're writing policy and you're trying to do right for the people, then you need to hold yourself to that standard and get things done for the people. There's no gray area with that. Keep it black and white. Keep it black and white for the people. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick musical break. And when I get back, hopefully we'll have Mrs. Cassaundra Hopson Jordan. She's a candidate running for mayor of Dolton. Hopefully we'll have her on the phone and we'll see what's on her mind. So thank you for staying with me. Don't go away. I'll be right back on the Nasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio. Hello and welcome back to the Nasha Harrison Show here on Intellectual Radio, where you feed your brain. Again, thank you for joining me. And if you're just joining me before the break or after the break, I said that I was going to try to get Cassaundra Hopson Jordan on the phone, the candidate running for mayor of Dolton, and we have her on the phone, I believe. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
All is well, all is well. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, I know we talked earlier about you coming on the show. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. And if you didn't catch the show before this phone call, I talked a little bit about Thornton Township, not much, but I did mention Thornton Township about all the melee that went on yesterday and how we just need to do better. So, let's talk about what's on your mind. What would you like to talk about?
Well, guys, kind of forgive me. I'm under the weather, so my voice is kind of jacked up right now. But I guess the phone call yesterday, and because after the meeting on Monday, I got real sick, so I literally have been in the bed under the weather,
Hmm.
and so I haven't really been paying attention to TV or anything because I'm just like really in a bad way right now. And so I get the phone call, and they were like, have you seen what is going on? And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, flip the TV on. And Lord and behold, I see all the chaos that broke out yesterday. And I have been saying for a minute that if these people don't learn how to calm all this anger down and learn how to suppress it, I knew that sooner or later a fight would break out. It's just only a matter of time. And we have to do better. We really do have to do better. I mean, we are like the laughing stock of the world. And it has just gotten just as bad. And it's sad. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mentioned. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, it's a sad situation. And it's embarrassing. It really is.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier about they were showing some people who talked about how shocked and how surprised they were about what happened, and these are the same people who you see at the meetings every day, uh, agitating and egging things on. So I find it hard to believe that a lot of the people who were on the news talking about how surprised they were truly surprised. I believe that everyone who's been following this um, has expected that it would get to this point.
Yeah, because literally, and it's sad to say, but it's all of the Jason House supporters. All of the Dolton meetings, all of the Thornton Township meetings. You have the same group of people that shows up. And it's at a point now. This is not even about politics anymore. All of this stuff it has gone to a personal level. I think every last one of those people, especially all of the ones that she might have promised jobs to or that work with her. I even look at the young lady, Stephanie. I'm like, what's the point of being a trustee if you get on the board and you disagree with everything? I think all of this stuff is just at a personal level. And this is why we need to change the guard. I say for the Thornton Township, all of those trustees need to go. Tiff need to go. I say for Dolton, all those trustees need to go. House and Tiffany, we need just a whole new administration because we have just gotten to such a horrible place. And it's funny that I'm, watching certain YouTubers, bloggers, or whatever you want to call them, no offense. And I'm starting to hear a lot of people say, and I was like, oh, really? Now, when I said it, I was crucified. But I'm starting to hear a lot of people say, you know what? At this point, everybody just needs to go and the state needs to really just come in and take over. Because at the rate that they're going, the state probably will come in and take over. When you look at the village, the trustees, let's be honest, they put the narrative out there about the village being broke. That never actually came from the mayor. That's a narrative that they put out there. So when you look at the village of Dolton, we are a home run entity. And when you look at everything that's going on, they claim we're in a huge deficit. People can't get along. They haven't been doing their audits, so therefore they've not been able to get any federal grants. And when I look this thing up, they meet all the qualifications of the state coming in and taking over. At this point, none of them need to be in those seats because all of this animosity, all of this stuff started with the people that support Jason House. It's the same group of people. A lot of people don't want to say it, and they walk around it and tiptoe around it. Well, I'm not tiptoeing around it. You know, I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I don't just go along with the crowd. I have no problem with speaking my mind. And it's his supporters that constantly goes to these meetings and that causes chaos. Now, when you look at Mayor Tiffany, Supervisor Tiffany, I just believe this girl has truly, well, let me rephrase it, this woman, young woman, has truly reached her breaking point. And I believe she felt like at this point, I have nothing to lose. So let me get all this frustration out of me. I mean, when people constantly poke at the bear and it's just constant bully, constant harassment from both sides, sooner or later, I knew that bomb was going to explode.
So for those who haven't seen the news, can you explain a little bit more about what happened with Tiffany and yesterday?
Well, I saw the part where after Jedediah made his comment, then he kind of walked towards the front and then he turned around and walked back. Now, a lot of them say, and people get mad, and I don't care. A lot of them say Kamal started it. But the LaVelle guy, if you really watch it and pay close attention, he swung first. Yes, Kamal put his hands out as to kind of like hold him back. But the young man actually swung first. And then Jedediah interjected himself into the fight. And then Tiffany come running out of nowhere, interjecting herself into the fight. And it's just mad chaos. And the part that's really disappointing, you have a lot of those seniors that's in there and they act like a bunch of high schoolers. Everybody, you know, I'm looking at old women running up, trying to hold grown men back. They're swinging like mad vultures and they're acting like a bunch of high schoolers. Everybody trying to, you know, see what's going on, not taking in consideration in the fact that somebody could truly get hurt.
Somebody could have died.
A chaotic mess.
Somebody could have got killed yesterday.
Yeah. And, you know, we live in a day and time where people like to come back with weapons. When they feel like they've lost the fight or feel like they wasn't vindicated enough, you know, people like to come back with weapons. And it's just unfortunate. And this is why I constantly keep saying, all of these people need to go. None of them are fit to run a dog show, let alone the government. They're not. They all need to go. They all had an opportunity to do something great. And since all of them have been in office, it has just been chaotic. And I'm going to keep reminding the people, you know, those of you that voted for her, you did this to your village. You trustees, you worked hard to get her in there. You brought the chaos to the village, and it will not be overlooked. And these are the consequences of the people's choices. And now they want to get back in the seat to fix a mess that they basically created. You know, you guys knew how this young lady was. You've been on the trustee board with her for years. You've seen her disposition. You've seen her attitude. You've seen the whole 9 yards. And I just believe everybody had their own political agenda. And I believe once Miss Tiffany got in there, she was a little hothead and felt like she couldn't be controlled. And then this is where the chaos began. They probably really thought they could have got that young lady in there and control her. And then when they saw that they couldn't, then all the drama began. But I want to say to these House supporters, at this point, put your hate down and just go sit down somewhere. If it's just that serious, it is something as simple as just vote her out. It's just that simple. We don't have to keep fighting every meeting. You know, you can't really hear a word edgewise. And then people say, well, you know, we don't see you at the meeting. Why would I want to come and be bothered with that chaotic mess where it's constant fighting and arguing and calling people all out of their name? And then a lot of these folks, you don't even live in the village, nor do you live in the township. You just here for drama. And it's crazy. And it at this point, all of them, They need to wake up tomorrow and all of them just need to resign. Let a whole new crew come in and start afresh. And it need to be someone that is not attached to any of them. Because if we keep recycling the same old people, it's unfortunate that if Mr. House get in there, we're going to be in a worse off situation than what we are. All we did was change the name, but you're still dealing with the same crazy people that come and keep up chaos 24/7.
So what do you think is the motivation? So you have people who, as you said, day in and day out, they're agents of chaos, is what I would like to call them. What do you think motivates someone so much to continue to do what they do? Because when I first came to the village, I said, well, it's a lot of people that's passionate about what's going on in the village. They're really passionate. That's the word I kept using. Um, I can understand someone being upset because, things were not done according to what they were promised, or things were not done
Right?
correctly with their taxpayers' dollars. But as you said, if you don't like what's going on, change the guard by voting. So what do you think continues to motivate these people to do what they do the way they do it?
Well, what motivates them is hate. They have literally allowed a spirit of hate to take over them because it's no longer political. All of this stuff is on a personal level. All of this is turned personal because you just, to constantly keep feeding into it and going and going and going, it's like at some point, you all ought to be tired. Just go to the polls and vote the woman out. It's just that simple. If you realize, okay, we made a mistake, we put her in, wow, the chaos. Because at the end of the day, what is really getting accomplished?
Right.
When you look at the young lady that's a trustee now, what are you accomplishing? It's like you can see the anger there. Why become a trustee just to vote down everything? That doesn't make sense. And this is why I say people have to learn to stay professional. Put your personal feelings to the side. As I told the young lady on Monday night, and this is what the problem is. Too many cliques and too many friendships. Too many, oh, that's my sis or that's my brother. And then people can't decipher the difference when they get into the workplace. And this is why at this point, I'm going to keep saying it and I'm going to keep reiterating it. All of these people need to go. They have, Lord, forgive me, my language, but they have made a complete shit show of this township and this village.
So yesterday, I believe that there was a vote to have the insurance taken care of for Thornton Township. I believe that was accomplished yesterday. So this is my question to you. Do you feel that without the other trustee coming in, that they could have gotten that accomplished a long time ago?
Of course they could have gotten it accomplished. But once again, people keep allowing their personal feelings to get in the way.
And the
Gonzalez,
people were caught out.
I get it. I get it, Gonzalez. You feel like you made a mistake, but I felt like you know what you were doing at the ninth hour. You knew what you were doing. I don't believe that you didn't know what you were doing. Carmen Carlisle, you were Tiffany Ace Coon Boom. Now that the feds are involved, you want to turn holy. So all this stuff is just personal. They could have had this situation handled if they stay professional and put their personal feelings to the side. You got to go to work and handle the business. Leave the personal stuff outside the door. And let me tell you, if I was this insurance company, after seeing what I saw last night, I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole because they are a liability. I wouldn't touch them. They would wake up today or the next day after all of this happened, and they would yet not be insured because I wouldn't touch them. With that amount of chaos that happened yesterday, what insurance company would want to touch them? Look at all the lawsuits that's going to come after this.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. I believe that if someone can come in and take care of the business that should have been taken care of a long time ago, that it's really not about the people. And we've talked about this extensively, that you have to put the people first. The people are in the middle of all this mess. And so to give the illusion that it took another trustee, and we're talking about Thornton Township,
Correct.
to come in and take the seat in order for business to move forward, that tells me that the trustees that were already in the seat just refused to do their jobs.
Yeah, because everything is personal. I don't believe any of this stuff has to do with business. All of this is at the point it is a personal beef now. This is what I feel. As far as Dolton is concerned, as far as the township is concerned, because let's get it, Tiffany has pissed off a lot of people. She's fired people. She's done a lot of things. But here I say once again, you want her out? Just go to the polls.
Right.
A lot of this craziness is it's unbelievable. But to see a lot of those seniors in there running around like a bunch of high schoolers, clapping and cheering that stuff on, I just side-eye them. Like, what have we come to that, we're encouraging this kind of behavior?
Right. It was truly a mob mentality from what I saw. And of course, you wasn't there, I wasn't there, but based on what we're seeing, all over the news, as I said earlier, 24/7, you saw a mob mentality. And for those of you who don't understand what a mob mentality is, basically, when you see so much chaos going on and there's so many people around, they start to take part in the chaos, almost uncontrollably.
It's like their spirit craves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't live without the messiness. I can't live without the drama.
So with all the melee that happened yesterday, and with the words that are being spoke right now and the words that were spoke last week, how many times have you seen again someone calling you a Tiffany plant? You guys are plants.
Well, you know what? At this point, when I look at it, I don't even cast my pearls among swine, and I'll let that statement speak for itself.
Right.
Eagles just don't hang out with peasants. That's where I look at it. When you don't have anything else to talk about, or any other factual facts or anything of that nature, people get to the point where they just make up stuff. So for those that says all that crazy stuff, I'm like this, honey, I'm an eagle, and I don't come down to the level of peasant. I won't even entertain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have said it before, and we're going to continue to say it. We're not picking anybody's side. It's about the people.
Right. As I said it before, and from day one, when it all started back at the Lori Lightfoot first reveal, and when I mounted the podium, as I said from day one, and I like to think I made myself very clear. As I stated, I'm not for Tiffany, nor am I for House, because at the end of the day, you cannot separate the two. They all run the village, all of them. They all play a part in it. So you just can't point the finger and say, well, it's just this one. Then what are you guys doing? And then you can't say, well, it's them. Then what are you doing? They got to understand, you all are supposed to be a team. And as far as I am concerned, they have all failed the village. They had one assignment, and that was to protect us. But greed and fighting and foolishness and discord and disagreement, all of that stuff took precedence over making sure the business was handled in the village. So at this point, as I say again, I'm not for either one of them. That's why I'm in the race.
I was just about to ask you
because they all need to go.
So this was one of the deciding factors that propelled you to get into the race.
Most definitely. Well, when they kept saying, well, we need people to come out, we want people to come out and get involved. Well, here's the thing. A lot of them want people to come out and get involved, but you want to control the narrative and you want to control how they get involved. You don't get to control me. You don't get to tell me how to be involved. And you don't get to tell me I can't run for mayor. Now, yes, I'm involved. I'm involved the way I choose to be involved. You don't get to think for me, and you don't get to paint the narrative. See, they want people to come out, but they want to control the narrative because everybody got their own little motive. And they have their own little hidden agenda.
So after yesterday, what do you think? What do you think the outcome is going to be because of what happened yesterday at the township? Because as I said before, what happens in the township affects the villages, and what happens in Dalton Village affects the township. We're all a part of one another when it comes to services, when it comes to how we need to communicate as a legislative body. Everyone can benefit from one another, and everyone can suffer from each other as well. And we've seen that with places like Harvey, for example. So, um, what do you think the outcome is going to be because of what happened yesterday?
To be honest with you, I really don't know. I really don't. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things like you just have to wait and see because we never know how things might turn out. We might be expecting things to go one way and then it might shock us and go a totally different way. So honestly, I really don't even know how this thing is going to turn out.
So you're in
I
the.
just,
Go ahead.
I just pray that these same group of people that keep coming to the meetings, mounting the podiums, and they have the same old comments, the same old stuff. I really want all these people to step back, take a look at themselves, reflect on their part in all of this, and stop with the madness. You pissed off, go to the polls and vote for who you want and end it that way. But all of this fighting, all of this hatred, all of the cyberbullying, this dumb politics, all this crazy stuff, it is an embarrassment. And it almost, well, I'm not even going to say that one. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to leave that thought in my head. But go ahead.
No. So when when all the smoke clears, and when the people who saw what we saw happen yesterday, for those people who are in the middle that just want things to be done the right way, that just want to have change and things move in a positive direction, um, what are you going to offer the people should you become mayor of Dalton?
What I can offer the people when I become mayor of Dolton, I offer you 110% of me. See, I'm not the one that like to come in and make promises that I know that I can't keep. My goal is when I get in office, and one of the main things is you have to sit down and take a look at the books. People, say, how are you going to clear up a deficit? Well, I can't clear up what I don't see. So you have to actually sit down and take the time, go through all the books, look at all the positions. You got to look at everything before you actually start making decisions. Now, my job and one of my main goals is to bring businesses into Dalton. We need businesses. We need a tax relief for the middleman. I keep often saying, the seniors and the kids, but often the middleman that is paying the brunt of the taxes, that's getting taxed to death, doesn't get a relief or relief. So my goal is to bring businesses into this village so we can relieve the load of the taxpayer. And I believe once you build this village up, then you attract home buyers. You attract people into the village. So once you build it up, you attract home buyers, which get those houses filled, which gives everybody a relief on these taxes. I get all this other stuff. When you look at it, like, really, who's going to be quick to give us a grant when they look at all the chaos and the confusion and all the stuff that's going on? Nobody really wants to touch this village.
So it's going to take a new
I heard one of the
administration.
trustees say, we trying to get, some grants from the federal and get some help from the state. But when I say something about the state, then, you're ready to crucify me. But it's okay for you to say, we need to get some help from the state. Well, I got news for you. At the way things are looking, I wouldn't doubt if the state wouldn't come in and take over. You got to think about it. You don't have a fire chief. You don't have a chief of police. A lot of positions are not filled, and people are just fighting and acting like a bunch of fools.
Yeah,
So at this point, with the state honestly coming in, will probably be the best thing for the village.
Well, you'll definitely get transparency. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I believe that not only does Thornton Township need peace, but the village of Dalton definitely needs peace. We all need
Definitely.
peace, and we all need to be still and assess what's going on around us and move forward to do, as you said, we need to vote. We need to make
And let
sure.
me say this. I'm sorry to cut you off about this Thornton Township.
Mm,
Honestly, my personal thought, it needs to be done away with. That's just another entity that's eating up the taxpayer dollars. All the services that the Thornton Township offers, every town or village should be able to offer those services to their own people. Why are the people getting double taxed for a public aid service that each mayor should have um, should have a program in place that does those things for their people in their village or their town or whatever you want to call it? It needs to be done away with. That's just another entity where people sit around and say, we're going to make plenty of money. Think about the number of people that actually use those services and pay taxes into it daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. So I think that entity needs to go away altogether. And every mayor needs to put in a program where they offer those services to their people that's in their town or in their village that's in need.
that's an interesting point.
Because all we're doing is getting double tax. And to me, it makes no sense. It's just another entity that the good old boys sat around and thought of, and another way to get rich.
Hmm. Very interesting point. Definitely want to talk more about that. Uh, so before I let you go, final words.
My, I'm sorry, my throat is just raw right now. My final thought is, I just want people to get it together. Stop with all this hatred. Stop with all this bullying, because that's just only the beginning of what's going to happen. If it got to that point, it's going to get even worse. And I'm just afraid that somebody is going to get seriously hurt, because this stuff is not about politics anymore. People have personal vendetta. People want vengeance. They want to feel like they're vindicated because Tiffany did this to me, and Tiffany fired me, and Tiffany did that, and Tiffany did this. Go to the polls and vote her out. It's just that simple. But this personal grudge and this personal vendetta, because I look at every last person that supposedly have worked with her, and when I look at them and I listen to their language, it's about being vindicated. It has become personal. This has nothing to do with politics.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate your thoughts. I hope to have you on the show again soon, and I hope you feel better. And thank you for sharing your thoughts about not only what happened yesterday or what happened Monday, but how you feel overall about where the village is right now and where we need to go to make these things better. So, thank you for your support and trying to make the village better. And thank you for putting your hat in the ring to run for Mayor of Dalton. So I appreciate the time.
Most definitely.
All right. Get better, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Absolutely. So that was the candidate running for the Mayor of Dalton, Cassaundra Hopson Jordan. She shared her thoughts about what happened on Monday, what happened yesterday. And I agree with her that, we need to focus on the politics. We need to focus on the legislation that's going to make things better in the village, and bury the hatchet when it comes to these personal vendettas. If you don't like who's in office, go ahead and cast your vote. There's a lot of energy behind the processes that are going on as far as the people at the village, the people at the township, speaking their mind. Hey, let's put that energy into getting people behind you to cast a vote on who you believe should be in the seat as the mayor and in those seats as trustees. So I hope that everybody's registered. I hope that everybody's paying attention, and I hope that everybody's going to do um, what needs to be done for the betterment of the village. And in this case, based on what happened yesterday, for the betterment of the township as well. So I thank you for joining me. Of course, I always appreciate the love and support. Uh, I'm hoping to see everybody again next Wednesday. This is the Denasha Harrison Show on Intellectual Radio, where you feed your brain. And as always, if the levee don't break and the creek don't rise, we will see you next week on the Denasha Harrison Show. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you soon.